exterior work completed by the end of August.
I know.
It ain't done.
It will happen.
Right here. End of August. Guess what? It ain't done.
You'll be nowhere near it.
Did you ever talk to the Boy Scouts about?
Yes, I did speak to Matt. There was a little disconnect. He when I told him that, hey, come to the next meeting, he
5 seconds.
didn't really connect that. So, but he will. He won't be able to do it this next one, but the following meeting. Yeah. All right, let's call the meeting to order. Have a roll call, please.
Aiken?
Here.
Bear? Here. Harness? Here. Leek?
Here.
Scarborough? Here. Kenworthy?
Here.
And Tobias?
Here.
Great. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, citizens' time. Any comments?
I'd like to congratulate the town on holding the planning session and videotaping it and presenting that. I think it's an excellent idea. It was quite informative. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I saw some of it. The only thing that I would ask, since I was invited to it, if it could be done during business hours, because I also noticed that a number of the council members were not able to attend. So I think it would be an improvement if it were held when people could attend and when the council members themselves could attend. But I like it. Agenda items down here on the bottom. Everything that people are interested in are down here on the bottom. They're guaranteed to be gone by that. After closed session, after everything else, if you can just rearrange the agenda to put the things that interest the citizens up front, that would also be helpful. And that's it for right now.
I guess, Jen, if you could just note for the record, Ralph Green. Great, thanks. All right. Also, I think we should introduce our new.
If I could, I'd like to introduce our new museum director, Fran Marie Jacinto, who's here. And she started, it's been, now about 3 or 4 weeks. She's been keeping the museum open on Sundays. She comes with a wealth of experience in museums and history, and has taken a real active interest in the town. She's getting ready now for Haymarket Day. We'll have the museum open all day on Haymarket Day. And I didn't think some of you had a chance to meet her. I just wanted to make sure you had a chance. And if you have any questions for her, or would like to know what some of the plans are, we're still working on some plans for the museum, which we'll be bringing to the council. I hope that it may be October. So.
That's great. Great.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to contact me through the Zoom, or also on my number here. Reachable.
Okay.
Because I'm continuing looking at the museum, using my software databases and taking through and making my plans for
Great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to minutes. Take these all together or individually. Do you have any corrections?
Yeah, I know milk caught something.
That was going in the minutes.
No, that was after.
Yeah, it was after the minutes.
I make a motion that we approve all of the minutes with any corrections.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right. Updates. Hellfish.
I guess just a general comment, the 2 houses are coming along, but as you can tell, a lot slower than I had hoped they would. We just about done with the whole fish house. Some final exterior work is being done now, and we'll be painting the interior probably over the next week. And so that house is in really good shape. The old post office, again, we're just about done with the exterior work there. I think the interior work, we've got a little bit more to do on the interior. Some of it I'm going to hold until we have a definite tenant, because there may be some changes to the interior that I don't want to have to change after we've already done something here. But I think both houses are coming along, again, slower than I hoped they would, but we are staying within the budget, and I think the end result is going to be good. We are in loose negotiations, as you know, with the very thing for the Hallfish House. We're still talking with her about the flood damage, and wanted to talk to the council just a bit about that tonight in closed session. But if we can get that nailed down, I think we're ready to move ahead with the lease. I have a lease prepared for her. She's agreed to it in principle. Lisa has reviewed it and made some changes that she agreed to. So from that standpoint, we're ready to move ahead.
Okay. A couple questions, and maybe Mr. Lowry, you can help me too. When do you think the electric will be on? I mean, just when we'll have a light inside?
Over here?
Yes.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, we've got, the power is ready. It's just a matter of getting the power company to turn it on. Everything is now connected. We've done an underground connection from the pole out back to the house, Dominion, Virginia has to come out and actually run the wire, but we've got we're ready to do that, so we're ready to go.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Old post office. Sort of everything.
Actually,
similar. I don't have a. I'm sorry.
if I may, on the, when do you expect it to be completed, like for real this time? Because the end of August is coming on.
Yeah, I know.
On both buildings.
That's again, it's just been taking longer than I thought. I think both of them fully exterior will be done by Haymarket Day, because we want to be able to kind of show them off on Haymarket Day. Interior, again, I'm going to hold off on some of the interior work on the old post office until we have a definite tenant. Hallfish House, I can't imagine it would go beyond this month, but again, every time I've said something, it's been delayed. I'm hoping that we will have everything done and have the tenant in by the end of this month.
Great. Okay.
What about the detached section of the Hallfish House? Is that going to be completed as well? Or?
Yeah, I think we'll have that done. I'm not going to let anybody use it.
Yeah.
It's.
They still got to put the roof on that,
Yeah,
right?
the roof will be on, I hope, by Haymarket Day.
Right.
They're supposed to put that on later this week.
Yeah.
And we've done some work on the foundation, just some trying to see if we couldn't get it to move a little bit without a whole lot of effort. And we had some luck with that, so we're going to continue to see what we can do to get that thing straightened up without a whole lot of expense.
Okay. Jay?
What's left to do on the Hallfish House, Chief?
We have to put in the handicap ramp. We have to paint the interior, and we have to put the windows in, some windows in. We had a real problem with the odd sizes of the windows. We just couldn't find them. So Mr. Payne, the guy that's been doing most of the work, who is actually going to build them for us, and he can do them for a fraction of what it was going to cost to have them ordered. So he's working on those now. I hope they will be installed later this week, at least some of them will. So those are the main things. There's some work in the back, some smoothing out and some ground smoothing kind of stuff. But the house itself, it's really just making the connections, getting it painted, getting the ramp completed. And power will be on. I'm sure there's a couple other things. There's always a couple of minor things that come up at the end, but I think those are the big things.
So the number that's in the spreadsheet for the windows is the total cost for Mr. Payne to build these?
That's what he's estimating. That's what he's estimating at this point.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Let's move on to appropriations.
Still doing the Hulk shop, I mean, the Red Rooster. So you kind of just, he started and then he didn't finish, because I had
So he had
questions on
some
the Hulk
questions.
finish.
Do you have any more to say, Gene?
Well,
About
just
the
that
post office.
we should be wrapping up. There's a little bit of siding to be done over here, and the painting will be completed probably this week. And then we're going to be kind of focusing on the interior, but again, I want to make sure we're careful on how much we do there, because I don't want to have to undo anything. But we've got some work to do on the interior, on the floor, and those interiors there, so we'll get that done pretty quickly, I think, over the next several weeks.
And same thing with electrical connections. They're all ready to be very close in to make their
Yes,
final.
yes.
Okay. No other thoughts on that? Jay?
Same problem with the windows, I'm assuming?
Actually, those windows there are in fairly good shape. I think we can do some repair, and we don't, I think there's two of them that probably will have to be replaced, and yeah, it is a similar situation. But those windows weren't in as bad a shape, and we were able to get some standard windows to go in, a couple of those slots too. So the windows ended up being a little bit bigger problem than I thought they would be.
Has Mr. Payne given you any idea of when he can have both buildings finished? I mean, it just seems to be dragging on, and we seem to
Yeah.
run into another issue after another issue, which is something that some on council were worried about when we first undertook this project and tried to be the general contractor ourselves. So now here we are, many months later. It was supposed to be done by August, then it was going to be done by September. Now here it is September, and
I'll try
a minute ago you mentioned October.
Yeah, we're hoping to, I'm hoping to wrap it up as quickly as I can. I think one of the issues here is, I thought the more important issue for me was to try to stay under budget as opposed to a specific time frame. And in order to do that, I've had to bid some things and get additional prices on things. Just about every time, Mr. Payne is still coming low. I guess the other issue that we're dealing with is they do really quality work, and they are not as expensive as some others, so for that reason, they get pulled off the job occasionally, and I've had to fight with them on that. But I will be working with him this week to try to get everything completed and back on schedule, and see if we can come up with a schedule for you.
Okay.
A real schedule.
All right, great. All right, moving on, appropriations.
Two things have come up that require an addendum for engineering services on the Washington Street Enhancement Project. The biggest one is the need to document the stormwater management on the project in August from VDOT. If you have any questions, there's a good round of people. If you have any questions, or if you have anything else for that. The second thing that requires an addendum is relocating the drainage at the Haymarket Baptist Church for the settlement. I requested the engineer submit an addendum to do this work. It actually came in today $74 lower than what's in here. So it actually said there's a change that needs to be changed from the $18,227 to the $18,153. And I request that you approve the addendum and allocate the money from the streets expenditures line item so that we can get this work done and still have the project advertised by the end of this month. And if you have any questions, I do want to let you know I have reviewed the man hours that were proposed by the consultant and the contract reviewed the man hours proposed by the consultant, and both of us deemed them appropriate for the work to be done.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appropriate the $18,153 from the streetscape expenditures line item for the moving of the drainage as part of the Haymarket Baptist Church settlement.
Second. Any discussion? No discussions, roll call vote, please.
I think you just have to say and the...
And the stormwater.
It's in SWM, BBMP.
And the
Second one.
SWM BMP standards.
Mary Lou?
I will second that.
All right. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Aiken?
Yes.
Bear?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Scarborough?
Yes.
Kenworthy?
Aye.
And Rice.
All right.
All right. Next item, Alexander's Keep.
When the Alexander's Keep subdivision was approved, there were proffers attached to that approval. Those proffers went with the property, so when the new owner took it and developed it, the proffers remained in place. They have now paid the total amount of the proffers due. Because the work was not done within the prescribed time period within the proffer statement, an escalator came into effect, and that escalator added $23,802 to the total amount of the proffers, bringing it to a little over $200,000 that we have received in proffer money. The money is divided into 4 different areas that the town can make some decision about how they want to spend, but it is generally limited to what is stated in the proffer statement. As far as the escalator is concerned, I've talked to the town attorney about it. I think the best way to do this is to just determine the percentage of each designated purpose of the whole, and then apply that percentage to the 23,000. So we just add a little bit to each one of those. I think, for instance,
That makes sense, huh?
for the police, fire, and rescue vehicle, that adds, I think, about 8%, which is, I forgot what the number is, but
I have the total, I don't have the actual escalated, but it would give a total of $17,199.21.
so essentially we're just taking the 23,802 and dividing it by percentage among the 4 areas. It is my understanding that because this was not money that was budgeted, and because it is well in excess of the 1% of the budget, in order to spend it, we really need to make an appropriation, and because of the size of this, we will need to hold a public hearing, along with some other appropriation issues that we're going to be talking about a little bit later. I had talked to Mr. Tobias about this. I think that he was in agreement that that was the way to go with this particular amount.
Okay. So do we have like a placeholder for a public hearing for this? Maybe at the next council meeting?
I think what we'd like to do is have a public hearing at the October meeting. Between now and then, we have some work to do in terms of the exact amount that the hearing will be for and where that money will be spent. I think as long as we meet the 2-week deadline as far as the advertising, we're okay. And certainly we'll communicate with the council as far as what we plan to do with the money and how much we're talking about.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts? Next item, hiring the new police officer.
Jim,
Mr. Root?
it is recommended that town council review the position request from the chief. Do we have a request? Do we have a written request and proposal for the new officer?
It doesn't.
Should be.
So,
I've never done this before. I request my job. I don't know what to ask. I mean,
Right.
it's been a pleasure working for you. I mean, I don't know, you know.
Not your position,
Not
Sue.
yours.
Not yours,
For
Sue.
the extra police.
For a new officer, you're requisition for a new officer.
You were voting on me tonight.
Here we are.
No, we
And not if you keep making silly statements like that.
That's fine. My new officer, I haven't got one yet. I've got a boy in the academy that I'm hoping to hire if you guys appropriate the money to me, but right now, everybody that has put in an application is not coming to work with us.
gotcha. And the typical starting salary, that monies that we're talking?
That would be 42.
Okay.
And what's the escalator based on probationary period, et cetera, et cetera?
Excuse me?
What is the escalator for salary based on a probationary period of his employment, or her
What you
employment?
just asked.
Typically 5%,
Thank you.
Thank you.
After how many days? 4 months?
6 months.
Steve, it looks like you had a comment? No?
I was just curious, Chief may not know this, maybe you might, is 42K is salary. What about benefits and all that? What is the total cost to the town of, or rough cost to the town of somebody in your department, entry-level person with benefits and insurance? And I'm not sure what all the things are.
63, I think, is our number.
63? Somewhat depends on the insurance costs. If it's a family, that is a huge hit. Understand, yeah. That's probably the single biggest thing, but I think Jen is absolutely right. So it's in the 60s in general. Okay.
And the approximate equipment cost, horse cruiser equipment?
No, 5,000.
That's factored in.
That's already factored into the
Yeah.
63.
Yeah, we got that covered.
Oh,
just
okay,
a-
the personal equipment,
Yes, sir.
all that stuff. Okay.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to allow for the chief of police to hire a new officer as it is needed for 24-hour coverage in this town.
Second.
Motion that's been seconded. Discussion.
Will this, the motion was made about going to 24/7. Will this one officer achieve that?
This will put us pretty close, but I can't anticipate vacations and sick leave, that sort, but it will make us awful close, awful close.
Okay. Is the motion appropriate? I mean, I don't want to tie his arms if we're close, but we're not quite there, but the motion says that this will get us to 24/7.
I motion to hire a new officer.
I motion to hire a new officer, period.
At a salary not to exceed,
At a salary not to exceed $42,000 start.
Okay, and Rebecca seconded that.
Yes.
And now, further discussion?
Jim, what is the schedule that you're
Supervised?
proposing for your reserve officers to fill in any gaps and/or be part of this year's spreadsheet?
The only one that I really have that comes in and works is Fran. Everybody else is sort of a specialty, and they sort of cost us some money.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Bacon.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Kenworthy.
Yes.
Tobias.
Mr. Device?
I heard my name. Yes.
Motion carries. And next line item, number D, purchase a new cruiser.
Chief had given me quite an assortment of vehicles, and Mary Lou and I sat down last Thursday, got on the internet, did safety checks, miles per gallon, recalls, and we did narrow down the options to two. We had to eliminate some based on number of recalls. We eliminated the SUVs just strictly, honestly, based on price and gas mileage. Narrowing it down to two, we came down to the Chevy Caprice or the Ford Interceptor. However, there's a little hiccup with the state contracts. The Ford contract expires 10/4. It looks like the Caprice contract, if there's if there's a possibility, there's one sitting there, we could still get it now, because the contract is still, doesn't expire until the 22nd. However, the actual order cutoff date was back in May. So Mary Lou and I thought it might be best if we allocate an amount not to exceed, and then after we decide how we want to pay for this, we have a long, drawn-out motion that would cover the entire concept. So.
And I assume that you spoke to the chief and he's...
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mr. Foley.
Earlier today.
Yeah, okay. All right, so do we have a motion?
Well, I need to know how we would want to pay for this before I go to the motion, because we have 3 different possible payment options.
Yeah, why don't we go discuss the payment options, and then we can...
Would y'all mind sharing y'all's data? Because I specifically asked for a report from the chief for the council with information on other options. I didn't recall seeing anything. I understand you guys have, but I haven't seen any data.
Mary Lou,
I think it'd only be fair if the rest of the council could consider the
Want
options as well.
all the versions or just the last 2?
Yep. Seems how we can't do anything to it in a budget amendment anyway, I move to table this discussion until the October meeting. To give time for council to review all the data.
Okay, we
Our
have a motion on
October
the...
meeting is
We have a motion on the
the
floor.
first
Wait a minute.
or-
Time out. We have a motion on the floor, so we either get a second or guys.
I'll second that.
Okay, second discussion, sorry.
Is our October meeting on
The
the
first.
1st? Okay, then technically, we could still do that then, because the one contract's not up to the 4th.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
So we have-
And why don't we get everybody all the information that we went over?
Okay.
and
That
they
would be
can-
great.
They can review it and where we ended up, and then we'll do it again next month.
Okay.
Okay, so motion to table, seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Yea, nay?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And we'll go to line item E, the Market Baptist Sweepstakes settlement.
We have an agreement with the church, the settlement that we have been talking about for several months. It is now complete. The church has signed it. All of the trustees have now signed. So I have a final agreement ready for the council. I did put together a summary. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but I went ahead and put a summary of the items in This is not the contract. I'm still holding on to that. This is just the highlights.
Okay.
I
think we should probably go ahead.
Let's take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's that from?
Are they still passing out for closed session?
Just hold on to pass them out.
We'll get them over here, should we?
Just hang on to it and pass them out.
All right, so it looks like we'll wait till afterwards, maybe we'll put that back. Line item F, ARD appropriations. I believe at the last meeting that we had that we had no funding to, if we wanted to appoint any other positions. And so we put this as an agenda item to see if we can get this supported. Mr. Tobias.
2 things. Number 1, in the future, if we have a work session, I think it would be more prudent if a topic is not discussed at the work session and not requested during the work session to be added to the agenda, that it not be added to the agenda after the fact. Number 2, council pretty much made the statement last month that we were happy with 5, so I don't think that this theme needs to be discussed. Therefore, I suggest that we leave it as is.
Well, thank you for your opinion there.
How would I make a motion to remove this from the agenda? To not discuss it, just to leave it as is. What would my motion be?
Just say it like that.
Table indefinitely? Make a motion to approve, to table indefinitely the subject of ARB appropriations for the sole purpose of allowing for membership to increase to 7 persons.
Second.
Second.
Looks like Kat got the second. So we have now discussion.
I would just like it to be stated that it wasn't stated that there was no money for it. It was stated that there was no need for it. All other boards have 5 members. There is no need for 7 on one.
Most other towns in our area, Percival, Herndon, Vienna, they only have 5 members, and they're quite a bit larger than we are. I don't see where our town, being the size that it does, needs an additional 2.
Mr. Milt, any
I
discussion?
agree. We only need 5.
Mary Lou, Jay,
Call for vote, please.
call for the vote. I think it needs to be seconded.
Second.
correct? Okay. Discussion, no discussion, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes for the call for the vote. Now for the vote. Can you read back the vote?
Oh, that wasn't actually a motion to call for the vote. That was my statement to you to say, would you call for the vote? Is what I said. That's fine.
So if it has a motion, we have it
Oh,
seconded.
fine.
yeah, I would have been seconded it. so-
We're back to the original motion. Can you repeat that, Jen, just for everybody's?
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
My original motion, to table indefinitely.
listened to the video.
Okay.
The motion was to table indefinitely the discussion of added ARB appropriations for the sole intent of adding up to 7 members when 5 members is plenty.
Okay. And roll call, please.
Aiken?
No.
Fair?
Yes.
Harness?
Yes.
Scarborough?
Yes.
Kenworthy?
Yes.
All right.
It will always show on the agenda then, this table.
Okay. All right.
If anybody changes their mind, they can bring it back up.
All right. General reserves, item number G.
We have been going back and forth with the auditors about where we stand in terms of carrying money forward and also with the town fund balances. The audit it looks like we will have a final draft within the next 10 days to 2 weeks. So what I'm suggesting is that whatever we end up taking forward would also have to go to a public hearing. What I'd like to do is if I can get from the auditors the final numbers, I'll communicate those with the council and suggest an amount to be advertised along with the proffer amount of $200,000, so that we can include that in the public hearing in October. I hope to have that information to you, I would hope within 2 weeks.
Okay.
Gene, you had mentioned earlier today when we spoke that that number was going to come in somewhere around probably 190-ish.
It looks like it's going to be closer to 197 as opposed to the number that we had before.
Which would be great, seeing as how the council has already obligated $159,992 of that. So, just before anybody gets any bright ideas about $190,000, we've already spent $160 of it. So, keep that in mind as you're making your plans and developing your ideas of what to do with this sudden windfall.
Okay.
Because council very smartly spent most of it before the end of the fiscal year last year on other projects.
Any other discussion, Bill?
Got a typo down at the bottom.
Council meeting for the amendment of
2103.
2103. Operating budget should be 2013.
Okay.
We're going to carry it over to these.
Lisa, for public hearing, do we need that as a motion or directive?
That should be directed.
Okay.
I mean, it's required by state law, so it doesn't matter either way.
Right.
You were saying earlier today that the auditor should have that number in time to advertise it 2 weeks prior to October 1st?
They have said that
Therefore, would you consider yourself directed to make sure that we advertise for both this and the excess monies from the Alexander Ski proffers?
Okay. Great. Moving on. Treasurer's report.
Not much to say there. It's kind of self-explanatory as far as our actuals through the end of August business days. Gene and I are working on a summary report versus the budget as you see it listed here. A lot of that's going to depend upon the new software and implementing that and what format the report can be generated. But if anyone has any questions, I'm sure we can entertain them at this time.
Okay. Any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Police report. Chief Root.
Yes, sir. Questions, comments, or concerns? Anybody?
Notice a lot of cut-through traffic going on through Town Hall again.
Do what?
Cut-through traffic going on through Town Hall. I know our sign was damaged and destroyed, and I think it's still sitting in the mayor's in the town manager's office. So maybe we can check that out on high traffic times at that stoplight. It's just dangerous. They zip through here and they don't even stop when they turn right down to Washington Street.
Now they're bounding through right over those speed bumps every day, 5 o'clock. I see at least 20 of them come whizzing through here.
Yep. They zap right over them.
Any other questions, comments for the chief?
Here's one for you that may or may not be part of your report. I saw an article today where in Arlington and Alexandria, one of those two, I always get those confused. Whichever one's closest to DC. Arlington? Arlington. Their bike lanes are actually painted a bright blue color, or green, I think it looked like, just to make it more visible for people and make it hopefully a little safer. What is your opinion of that?
Anything that would improve the safety of the citizens, I'm all for blue, paint, whatever they can see the best.
Right.
I mean, the police cars have gone to a blue light for a reason.
Right.
So, I don't think anything wrong with it anyway.
Can a vehicle actually operate inside of a bike lane if it's painted and and marked as a bike lane? So if a vehicle was to go around the solid or to go into the bike lane, it is a moving violation?
You're talking about the intersection, right?
I'm talking about any bike lane. Like if a motor vehicle is operating inside of the bike lane, maybe at the intersection to go around,
Right, that would be a
somehow,
violation, absolutely.
that'd be a moving violation, correct? But only if it's marked as a bike lane?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief? Seeing none? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Lowry.
You know how much paint will cost?
I like that idea.
If nothing else, paint the bike lanes that usually just has the white triangle or paint those. But in Arlington, that's why I'm over there with the whole daggone thing.
How are you, sir? Great, excellent, thank you.
Trying to do to help you, any question?
We received a report. The only thing I had for you is on our two properties, would we refer to like a CO on those when they're all done and finished?
On the two town properties?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there'd be an occupancy on both of them,
Okay,
so it's complete.
all right. Any other questions for Mr. Lowry? I just wanted to point out that low voltage on front of McDonald's is still out there on their
It's all
drive-through.
going to be fixed with a new remodeling in McDonald's.
Okay.
All prepared to have it fixed. That's what they asked me, they said, can we wait? I said, yes.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving down here, we've got our closed session.
Do we want to do the town manager's
Town
report?
manager?
Oh, sorry, Gene, I missed you.
Museum update, kind of already did that, I just wanted the council to be firm and just be aware of what she's doing. The other projects, the main thing that we're trying to do right now is make sure that they're either done or away from here for Haymarket Day. They've all said that they would be. We're going to have to, I think, monitor that to make sure. VDOT has said they'll work with us to make sure they're not here when Haymarket Day is here.
Mr. Bott?
On the utility relocation and all that stuff, I talked to you guys last week about some holes over there on the field property, and you went over there and you said you walked it and you saw the holes, and that they had said that they were going to be repaired. The question is, what about the ruts? And one of those ruts and holes is extremely deep. Looks like it was redug out today, it looks like, by a piece of equipment. Are they going to smooth over that property right against the gravel area there, or is that going to be left to...
Those stockpiles there belong to the gas company, and they did say that they would go ahead and smooth it out and get the ruts out when they leave those stockpiles, either use them or get them away from them, so...
And the one hole looks like it was a utility pole that was dug up for the one that was relocated, pole number 50-2.
We can just fill that in, we'll have them fill that in.
But that is something they're going to do. It's not going to be on, the onus is not going to be on us to do
No,
that.
they said they would take care of it.
Because I'd hate to see Mr. Gravitt come back and yell at us for tearing up his property.
Okay, Gene, you continue with your report. Thank you.
The similar situation with the pedestrian signal, there's been some preliminary work done for the wiring and cabling for that pedestrian signal, but the work itself hasn't begun. We've asked them not to start anything until after Haymarket Day. The pedestrian improvement project, which is our piece of that widening and replacement of the bridge, is moving ahead. We've advertised for that, and we're going to be moving ahead with that in conjunction with what VDOT is going to be doing with the replacement of the bridge. The update on the I-66 projects, everything at this point is kind of in a holding pattern. We have had a couple of meetings with VDOT regarding the intersection project, but they are now going into what's called a 106 review, which is looking at all the impact on the historical, any kind of historical items in the area. I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but it's a required part of the process, and it's just now getting started.
Any questions? Mr. Tobias?
Holly, could you possibly expand on the first part of the I-66 widening where it says they can choose from a shoulder section, a wide flat paved area, a curb section, or a barrier section? Do you have any photos you could share with us, maybe via email, that kind of, I can't visualize that, I'm not an architect, design guy.
Because what it is, I'll send you pictures. But what they're trying to do is leave it open to the contractor to determine what best suits them and is most economical for them. And because you've got to remember, everything they've done up to now is just preliminary. Now they're going to turn it over to the contractor. And I will find some pictures or graphics to kind of show you what a shoulder versus a curb.
Yeah, I can't picture the curb section into a bike path. I can't picture that.
Well, what is it? You have a curb, kind of like what you have further down. You have curb and you have a little grass area.
Yeah.
And then you have the path adjacent. That's what we call a curb section.
Where do we have that now?
You, like up on Washington Street, where you have the streetscape.
Yeah. There's a sidewalk.
Yeah, the sidewalk
Separated
is
by
shared
grass.
use. Yes, shared use path. What I'm talking about is between you have the road, then you'd have a curb,
Gotcha.
then you'd have a little landing
Gotcha.
space, and then the sidewalk.
Okay.
So shoulder
That
section,
makes sense.
It's literally just pavement.
Like what we have out here
Straight across.
on Washington Street. In front, directly in front of like Giuseppe's
It
and
would be a lot
stuff.
wider because
Right.
there's an 8-foot shoulder, plus that we have an 8-foot shared use path. So that's not as safe, although it needs to be out of criteria, because drivers will think they can drive over everything because it's all paved. Which is why they issued first, that's how they actually put out the RFPs as a shoulder section. And then it kind of came up, that's not really preferred. And then the final option is to put like a little, like you have the road, and then you have like a little wall, a railing on top that separates the path. But I will find some pictures and email.
Actually, you just did a great job of visualizing it for me, so thank you. Unless Ed Ross wants pictures, I'm good.
I'm good. I knew, yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Mr. Aiken?
Taking off from what Jay was mentioning about the bike stuff, since VDOT has not come back and marked them yet, would it make sense to have somebody talk to VDOT about, are there any options before they mark them to make them more visible?
Yeah, that's a good, we were kind of whispering about that after we talked. Is it possible that we might be able to ask VDOT if they could, so basically when they did the bike lane, it says bike, has a picture of a bike and a triangle, all in white paint or white images or whatever.
Right.
Can they make those blue or some sort of visible color? Would that cost us money? Could we ask them?
We can certainly ask. I don't know why it would cost us money. But let me see.
And
Since they haven't done it yet, it might be the time to ask. I
I
think that's...
mean, the pictures I saw on the internet today for Arlington or Alexandria or whichever one of those places it was pretty neat. And,
Well, it's like 66 where they
painted the HOVs now. They painted
HOV
the-
lanes, which are...
Which makes no sense because it's only sections, it's not the whole,
Well-
I don't know what, but I mean, anything that we could do, especially at the intersection area where, because, I've seen some pretty close calls there.
Yes, and it makes it highly visible.
Well, you had a comment?
Yeah, and the paint, if they could put the paint, or a reflective paint would be great. We see a lot of bikes at nighttime riding up down this road.
Okay.
Reflective paint would be, I think, an advantage.
And this is such a short area that it's not like... it
Can't
shouldn't
be too
that
costly, right.
I mean, let's think safety.
Okay. Holly?
Can I just suggest something?
Sure, go ahead. You might have some insight,
I mean,
obviously.
The current standard for white paint is reflective.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Ours is just old.
I think it's worthwhile to definitely ask if they can do the colored paint, but one of the concerns I just want to bring to your attention, the jurisdictions you mentioned maintain their own streets.
Right.
So VDOT might not have that type of paint
Right.
on hand, so that's, I think we should ask, but I just wanted to say that it might not happen.
Which, depending upon how much, maybe they have access to that paint and they say, look, we're going to paint it, but if you want it to be blue or green or purple or whatever, give us $500 and we'll do it. That's something council can certainly consider. I mean, it doesn't seem like an astronomical, because like Steve was saying, it's a short area. It doesn't need to be.
And they must have extra red paint from 66.
Yeah.
Either that or they ran out, which is why they stopped where they stopped.
Any other questions for Gene? We're going to executive session? All right, seeing that, we need a motion to go into it.
Real quick, before we do that, Mr. Mayor, would it appease the council to move any of the agenda items that the residents and the citizens who are here may want to stay for versus the closed session as per the comments at Citizens Time? I.e. agenda item 9B, 9C, 9D, 9E, F, G. So B through G. Can we discuss those first? Does anybody have any objection to moving the agenda? Sorry, Jen, I know it screws up your computer software, but...
I have no objection.
Objection?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Is there something that you need to do right now to catch things up?
She can fix it, she got a month. That's it.
All right,
So we're going to skip ahead to 9B.
9B.
B through G.
As you recall, the council decided that rather than piecemeal the town center property, that we should go ahead and get a firm who could come in and do a master plan for the entire block of property that we own here. We've gone through the selection committee, or at least the review committee, has gone through review of the proposals. We narrowed it down to 2, and then we had some additional discussions. And we are recommending that we go with the team of J2 engineers and LPDA. A lot of that is based on the quality of their work and really the excellent quality of the references that we got from them. It was it's really, they just were head and shoulders above all the others in terms of the references that we were getting. Several of those references were small towns in the area that are doing work similar to what we're talking about.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Actually, I have something wrong here. I had said about moving money, their quote was a little under 20,000, so I would like to ask that we budget an amount of not to exceed, but it would come from general reserves instead of capital reserves.
Okay. Motion?
I motion that we award the contract for the master plan to J2E and LTDA not to exceed $20,000 from the general reserve line item.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
second.
We have a second. Discussion.
Do they have an ETA when this will be completed?
We didn't actually work on the schedule, and we just, at this point, we don't have a schedule. So we can go ahead and negotiate one as part of the agreement.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, we have a roll call vote, please.
Aiken.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Harnes.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Kenworthy.
Yes.
Tobias.
All right.
All right. Item number C.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the memo suggests, several goings on in the last several months, and we're recommending that the council initiate an ordinance to amend, a resolution to amend the zoning ordinance.
Okay. And do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that the town adopt the attached resolution of intent to amend Chapter 58 zoning of the Code of Haymarket.
I'll second.
And there is a second. Any discussion?
Has this gone to the planning commission?
No, that's what this is doing.
This is moving it to the planning commission.
Permission, so that they can come up with the draft language and send it back to the planning commission.
Shouldn't that be part of the draft motion? Adopt the attached resolution of intent and forward to?
Well, in the
I know in the recommendation it says that, but
no, in the last paragraph.
got it. Thank you.
Yep. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Aiken.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Harnes.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Kenworthy. Tobias.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
I wasn't reading that. I was reading this. I'm like, what?
Item number D. Guess what, we were looking for some kind of maybe resolution to have the town support a community center in our town. Go ahead, sir.
Not any particular group or organization, just making specifically the county aware that we're in strong support of the community center in this area.
Were we able to get the information from the RFIs on what community service people had actually responded to the county?
I probably have the latest on that. I got an email back from Lori, basically saying that she put in our request and hopes to forward to us. As of today at 5 o'clock, we have not received it. The request was last week, just to let you know.
Back from who? Lori?
Lori, she's Corey Stewart's admin secretary.
So should we put it off till next month?
Make a motion to table discussion of the community center support until the October 1st meeting pending receipt of information requested from the county.
I'll second.
Every second. No discussion? Quick
I'm
discussion.
just
Yes, sir.
curious, I mean, it seems like a simple enough thing to just say whether or not we support the concept of having a community center or not. I mean, we're not supporting any particular group or any particular place or any particular item. I'm not sure why we're going through all this.
Just to wait to see it with the RFIs. Anybody else like to elaborate? Rebecca?
I agree, it's too simple.
There was discussion at the council work session about the blanket letter of support from the town for a, quote, community center, and some far-reaching discussion about the types of community groups that may be so-called community centers. And so we wanted some more information so that maybe we could actually enact a little bit more detailed support of a specific
Oh, so we might be looking
organizational goal.
at supporting a particular...
That was the intent of my wanting some
Okay.
clarification, yes, sir. As opposed to a blanket statement of a community center,
Okay.
which could then be used by anybody, by any group to say, well, the council supports this, I'm a community center. I would like, and I think council discussed it on last week, that we would like a little bit more information about the proposals that are out there.
Sorry, I couldn't be there.
That's all right. Next time, watch it on TV.
Any other discussion?
Marchant has his hand up.
Can I real quick,
Yes.
if I could interject and add to the discussion? I've spoken with Mr. Matt Malari, who's the Public Works Director. We had discussed, I believe, yourself, and I also advised there about sending a general letter, which I've drafted to go to Matt, which basically just says, this is what it's zoned, this is what it's planned, here's a brief overview of our land development process. Originally was going to submit that on the same deadline as the RFI. Speaking with Matt, he says, when I get ready to prepare my board item to go to the board, which describes all the RFIs that comes in, that would be the time to go ahead and submit that to the council, but it's just a general overview. The idea being is that we don't want to get to the finish line where the county, you have the county get to the finish line of making a command decision, and all of a sudden we're seen as the obstacle because we're coming forward with all these land use requirements. So I think the earlier we can engage them and say, here's the land development process, here's how we can assist you in your consideration, that should alleviate kind of the perceived friction that happens between the town and the council.
Right.
You've asked to review that letter before it goes out. I'll make sure you look at it before it's distributed.
Great,
to the
okay.
account.
Good, thank you. Thank you for that update. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, motion carries. Who's the table it?
Oh, thank you. We got sidetracked with Marchant Circle.
To the next meeting.
I swear I had a Red Bull. I swear it's not working, but I had it.
All right, next item here, police liaison.
Make a motion to appoint Steve Aiken as police liaison for the term of the current council's office ending June 30th, 2014.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I have a motion, we appoint Rebecca Bear.
We
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, there we go. Discussion.
I'm,
Has
this is
anyone
a
asked
surprise
you?
to me. So,
That's what I was going to say. Has anyone asked you about this position?
no, I mean, I don't object to it, but this is news to me.
Okay. I guess we can go around the table with discussion. Milt, it looks like you had your first. Wanted to make a comment or anything? No? I'm
I
sorry.
was going to recommend Rebecca Bear, that's all.
Okay.
Well, the thing that I saw was appointing someone who didn't already have a liaison position.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, she's already got her hands full to a certain extent with the PC also, and trying to spread the responsibilities a little bit amongst the council members.
Good point. Mary Lou, any thoughts, comments? No?
Rebecca, do you have a preference?
I don't have a preference, so.
I know the chief asked for her to be the liaison. That's what I know. It doesn't matter to me who does it, actually. I have nothing against you on that.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, seeing no roll call, please.
To appoint Steve.
Aiken,
I'll abstain.
Bear,
Yeah.
Harness,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Kenworthy,
He said
I
whatever.
think that's a yes.
That's a yes.
and Tobias.
Aye.
That's what
Right. Okay.
Hey, you like that?
It's cute.
Is now an appropriate time or some other time to ask the council what
Liaison.
duties are, what is
You're
expected?
there, Steve, go for it, buddy.
Do we have any policies or procedures in the past of any of the liaisons as the years have gone through? Positions? Do other localities have in writing about what a liaison does? Do you know?
No, I had a recommendation that the liaisons to the boards provide a report at the council meeting.
Right.
We haven't enacted that yet.
Okay.
Basically,
That was
you
part of
would
my
be the go-between
communications
between the council and
policy as
the
well, is to have that,
chief.
that
Instead of
information from the
6 or
boards or
7
whatever
people
be presented.
Understand that, yeah.
asking them for specific information, et cetera. We'll ask you to get it for us, and then on the evenings where he's not here for some reason, instead of sending someone else, you could possibly give his police report and know the ins and outs. And
Okay.
you could then be the person, notwithstanding the work that was done by other council members by any shape or form, but when we want more data on a certain procurement request, et cetera, you could be the one to facilitate that and go get it and figure it out, and et cetera.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Trial by error.
Or fire, one or the other.
It looks like our remaining items is definitely closed session, so
Is that
Now, F and G.
No.
F and G.
F and G.
there we go, sorry about that.
Make a motion to approve zoning permit number 20120711 for business office use to be located at 14950 Washington Street, Suite 203, in accordance with section 58-177, subsection 9 of the Town Code for Renee Enterprises LLC.
Second.
Cat seconded, discussion?
He's not letting you say that.
Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Aiken.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Harness.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Kenworthy.
Aye.
And Tobias.
I move the Town Council appoint Jennifer Preli as the Town Clerk for the fiscal year 2013. And I further move that the Town Council appoint James Roop as the Town Police Chief for the fiscal year 2013.
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded. Any discussion?
Do you want to add as required by the town code?
No, that's not necessary.
Okay, just checking.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Aiken.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Harness.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Kenworthy.
Aye.
And Tobias.
Make a motion to go into closed session, to take whatever full session leases are reached.
If we can do that from the diocese, I would really appreciate that.
On this one, I prefer Councilman do it, maybe
Yes.
for the town attorney one.
So we can,
Motion is there in your packet.
so if we could have somebody read the motion.
Can you tell me where?
Yes,
In the
it's
back, it's in 8.
It's here,
It's an
something.
8A.
I motion that we enter into closed session for discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, discipline, or resignation of specific public officers, appointee, or employees of any public body, and evaluation of performance in departments or schools of public institutions of higher education where such evaluation will necessarily involve discussion of the performance of the specific individuals, namely the position, town attorney.
Second.
Got second? Discussion, no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On the record, please put that up.
We haven't made a decision.
Yeah, I know, I'm gonna kind of,
And the evaluation of performance.
yeah, namely the town manager and chief of police. Yeah, and evaluation of performance. And then A3, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for public purposes or of the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of a public body, namely the lease agreement was the very thing you want to add, and the daytime playtime.
Can we
We
make...
need to add the agreement for Dively also. Yeah, A7. Okay, and then I'll add 2.2 3711A7, discussion of matters exempted from FOIA based on legal advice from counsel, AKA Richard Dively, regarding the streetscape projects.
We have a motion on the floor. Does the
Actually,
second?
hang on. There hasn't been a motion on the floor because she can't make the motion, number one. She's reading the motion for someone to make, number one. I had my hand up. I think that the first part of that actually has to be namely all town employees, not just the town manager and the chief of police, because we'll be discussing all town employees.
Yeah.
So if we can make that the motion,
Yeah.
namely all town employees, I'll be happy to move it and let someone second it.
So moved. Mr. Tobias?
Second.
Mary Lou, second. Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Unanimous?
That's what I want.
Almost over.
Kat, you can make the motion since you're his neighbor and you're his friend, and that way he won't, be upset with anybody else.
Who?
Corey.
Oh. He already knows that's going down. I know I'm
Does
not
he?
getting one. I know I'm just getting I know. I'm not eligible.
Then I'll do it.
Do each of you certify that to the best of each of your knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requires Spartanburg general law were discussed in the closed session to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed session were heard, discussed, or considered by council.
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
Harness.
Yes.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Henry.
Yeah.
Tobias.
All right. What was the first director? The first one was the director that we had the issue.
Yeah, directed. They just continue with their collections.
No, not that one. What was it?
Contract.
Yeah, their contract. Settlement.
Did we get a approval with the requirement that it be reviewed by the council?
Yes. Like to direct the town manager and staff to work with Mr. Dively as well as Lisa to finalize the settlement agreement with Haymarket Baptist Church, and barring any unforeseen changes by our legal counsel, to enter in an agreement to settle the acquisition/adjustment. Everybody okay with that directive?
Yes.
Whereas the town council budgeted for 2013 fiscal year salary increases to include up to a 3% cost of living and an additional 2% merit-based performance raise. Therefore, be it resolved that, with the exception of one named police officer, all employees of the town will receive a 5% pay raise effective July 1st, 2012 for the fiscal, effective July 1st, 2012, with the exception of Officer Corey O'Neill, due to length of time of service. His pay raise should be an effective rate of 3.5%, retro to July 1st, 2012.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Mary Lou. Discussion. Roll call vote.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
Harness.
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Kenworthy. Tobias.
Great. Citizens' time, we came back up. Any other further comments? Seeing none, go ahead. Move to council members' time. Go, Steve.
No.
Catherine?
Skip over Rebecca?
I was just going by the order.
Oh. I have nothing.
Okay.
I'll say, okay,
Rebecca?
fine. No, I don't know. I'm good.
Mary Lou?
No, sir.
Nope.
No.
Mr. Tobias?
So just a matter of area of concern. A directive to staff, if you would, that if a certain council member is to ask for something and ask for clarification on something and ask for further information on something, would staff direct all employees to make sure that at the very least that council member gets the report that he or she may be asking for, and any other council members that want that information? Because just like tonight, there was a report that was expected, there was work done behind the scenes that not everybody on council was aware of, and while it's not a big deal, but it's now been tabled for 1 month when it could have maybe been resolved tonight if everybody would have had the same information. That being said, anybody that ever wants anything from me, you're welcome to have it, and I think I CC most people on most of my communications, so therefore, if everybody could play by the same rule, that'd be great.
Okay. Anything further? Just a reminder, of course, Haymarket Day. They'd like to have the entire council up there, what time, like 9:30, I believe?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Goes off at 9:30. I'd be up there by about 9:15, 9:10.
At the latest.
Okay.
Up where?
CVS parking lot. That's where the parade starts.
Any other concerns you've met with, I just want to kind of recap on that. You've met with a couple people, Jerry or Kim or anybody, as far as any last minute concerns?
We've had one concern that we need to work with a couple of nonprofits on, but I think overall it looks like it's coming together pretty well.
Okay. You actually walked the site too, I understand.
I walked the site last week with Kim. As Jay said, we found a couple of areas that probably need to do some repair. I've gotten asked to make those repairs to the landscape. Other than that, it looks like we're in pretty good shape. I think the resurfacing happened at a good time. We've got town looks good.
And I think I had a note from last year's concern about the VDOT signs being up there, and I realize it's not us that orders those, but announcing street closures and stuff like that.
In advance, not the
In advance,
not
right?
the
Not
day
the day
of.
before,
Yeah.
right? Maybe
Last
just a
year,
reminder.
They are supposed to provide 4 signs again for us this year, at least a week in advance.
Okay. And an email blast, does that go out, Jen, as it gets close, like the week before or something?
I sent a postcard.
I got it.
Yeah, I got the postcard.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
postcard. Yeah, then we'll do something there.
Yeah, just kind of, okay.
I just like to say I'll be in the dunk tank, dunk
Will you?
councilman.
Wow.
Good
There
for
you
you.
go. Good for you.
Bring it on.
David, are you walking in the parade, or are you riding
Council
the
person.
I'm in the dunk tank, as in dunk
So
tank.
you mentioned Duncan Councilman, wouldn't you technically be a council person?
Well, we had talked about it, I
don't
talked
care
to
about
Mel,
the-
Mary Lou and I talked about it, about possible council, if they didn't want to walk in the parade, or I would put my truck in the parade,
I ain't walking.
and we could
My
sit,
knees won't.
council can sit in the back and throw candy to kids if they didn't want to walk.
Yeah, I mean, I have no physical.
I ain't gonna be in it regardless of
disability,
what y'all
so
are.
walking's a great thing.
You
So I
go
would
work.
definitely be walking.
Huh?
I thought you were going to drive the truck for us.
Or something, probably.
Well, put a hat on you, Jay, no one will
Monster
notice
truck?
it's you.
I
No,
hope that's not a me. I think it's a joke.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
No, you still have another item.
Oh, sorry.
Supposed to have citizen time that we skipped over.
No, I already did.
Yeah, we already
sir.
did it.
Did you ask him a second time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's already done.
Thank you.
Yes.
Noted.
Ralph, were you happy that we had modified the agenda for you?
I appreciate modifying the agenda. I'm sure any other citizen that's.
Was there, what about, anything done about the 3 o'clock in the afternoon meetings? For a workshop?
Please.
Yeah, I mean, there's some more research I'm asking Jen to find out about the workshops. I thought it would be something to invite the entire council to participate, but yet not having to expend monies to keep them out late. So the idea was, just like other localities do, you put it in the 3, 4 o'clock range to take advantage of that. But it'll be definitely something I'll consider. But
Well, it definitely has something to do with the staff being there too, and not having to worry about staff overtime or lack of coverage. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's a work
I
session,
realize
it's
it-
not, I mean, there's the agenda, the work session and agenda was put out in advance, so anybody that had questions could have certainly relayed their questions either to the mayor or the manager or the clerk or anybody, but,
Would you like to adjourn there, please, for the...
Yeah, it was published. Yeah. Definitely was published in,
Yeah,
What
on the
was?
website. Yep.
Yeah,
It was just a copy of this tonight's agenda.
Yeah.
There was a copy of the agenda that was out there.
it was on the website.
Okay.
Well, maybe looking into moving it a little closer to 4:30ish or 5, and if you give people enough notice, they may be able to arrange the
Yeah,
schedule.
4:35
And there wouldn't be
Yeah,
that
once a
much
month.
I'll send
overtime.
a,
There wouldn't be that much overtime extended if we moved
How long
it
did
to
this one
4:15.
not very long. Total time was...
Hour?
Not even that.
Yeah.
It's not always necessary to have it anyways, is it?
Well, it's just kind of, as you
Certainly a good idea to have it.
This is
Yeah,
not-
It's not necessary.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're leaving
didn't have it
so
before.
there is something.
Yeah, but Milton-
That's because Mayor Stutz wouldn't want it, but we kept arguing for it. For years, we argued for a work session,
Yeah,
so that we
and
got out of here before 11 o'clock, so you could go get a Budweiser.
Yeah,
Motion to
and
adjourn.
I'll drink to that.
Aye.
Is that on the recording?
Yeah, it was on a recording.
You're still on.
You're still on.